Well, hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. I'm so glad you decided to join me. It is a Tuesday, August 19, 2025, and welcome to the show. If you have been before, definitely welcome. If it's your first time here, well, welcome. Great to have you with me as well. So, the master topic for the week, I'm sure you guys know, but if you don't know, I'm going to go ahead and share the master topic with you because I think the master topic this week is, well, they're always good master topics, but this one is resilience and growth through adversity. Okay. And today's granular topic is learn from struggle. And I know when we hear struggle, it's like nobody wants a struggle, but struggle is part of life and it helps us get the feedback we need so that we can adjust our course and change it so that we can achieve what we want. For example, if you're in a car and you're using a GPS system, either built in or Waze or something else, or Google Maps, when we make a wrong turn, the system actually tries to help us course direction, right? I mean, that's what the GPS is designed to do. So I don't know if you guys have checked out believemeachieve.com. Be sure to do that after the show. It's available 24 hours a day. You can find out things like short form content, long form content, and so much more stuff. So definitely check that out. If you're thirsty, well, why not go grab yourself something, a beverage, maybe a water, a soda, a cup of tea, a coffee. Maybe you want a snack like fruits or nuts or something chocolate. Go ahead and do that and hurry on back to the show so we can kick this off. All right, everyone. Well, welcome back to Inspirations for Your Life. I am your host, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, podcast host and coach, video producer, graduate student, marketing specialist, keynote speaker, passionate lifelong learner, and so much more. Tonight, I'm diving into a universal truth. See, struggle is not your enemy, guys. No. It's not your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. Life will test you, stretch you, and at times even break you down. But it's through these challenges that we uncover, well, strength, resilience, and the wisdom needed to rise even higher. In this episode, I'm going to uncover, guys, 15 powerful lessons you can take away from struggle and learn how to transform adversity into, well, your stepping stones for success. So without any further ado, let's kick it off and get started. Hey, lessons from struggle. Number one, struggle reveals your true strength. When everything is easy, we don't get to see what we're really made of. Struggle strips away comfort and forces us to dig deep. It's in these moments of hardship that we discover just how powerful, capable, and unshakable we truly are. Number two, guys, every setback teaches resilience. Resilience isn't built when life is smooth, it's built when we bounce back from difficulties. Every setback gives us the chance to rise again stronger, wiser, and more determined to keep moving forward. I think that's an important thing to really understand. Number three, growth often hides inside discomfort. So growth rarely happens in the comfort zone. I've said this before. You have to practice getting comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to practice getting comfortable being uncomfortable, right? Struggle creates the discomfort that challenges us to adapt, to become a better version of ourselves. Without it, true progress can't take root. And I think when we have to push ourselves a little further, we actually learn, but then not only do we learn, we actually realize that our potential is a lot more than we thought it was. So I think those are very valuable keys here. Number four, guys, failure. Failure is only feedback. It is not the final version. Failure feels final, but it's really just information, like biofeedback. You hook up probes and you can detail your stress level, how fast your heart's beating, and things like that, your EKG. Struggle reframes failure as feedback, a way to learn what didn't work so we can adjust, pivot, and succeed the next time that we move forward. Number five, challenges shape our character. We aren't defined by what we achieve today, but by who we become while facing the adversity. Struggles shape our patience. Discipline and inner strength qualifies that last far longer than temporary success. And I think we all love when. Number 6, struggle builds patience and grit. Hardship teaches us the art of waiting. Nobody likes to wait. Enduring and persisting. The grit we gain from tough seasons becomes the fuel that carries us through, well, future challenges with more calmness and certainty. Number 7, guys, pain pushes you toward progress. I don't want to call pain into everyone. I want to say pain because I want you to be aware of it, but I want you to think of pain as discomfort. All right. Or discomfort may feel like a punishment, but often it's a push. It's a struggle that propels us beyond stagnation, forcing us to break through barriers and discover new opportunities we would never have pursued otherwise. I think that's important. Number 8, obstacles sharpen problem solving. Struggle challenges our creativity and our resourcefulness. Every obstacle forces us to think differently, adapt, and strengthen our problem solving skills, turning those roadblocks into stepping stones. I think when we first see these roadblocks, like, oh my gosh, like, how am I ever going to get over that mountain? Like, it just seems like unsurmountable. But then we get over and it's like, wow. And that's what gives us the confidence to go and do more. Number 9, tough times deepen gratitude. When life is hard, even those small blessings, they shine very bright. Struggle teaches us to appreciate the little things, the moments of peace, the acts of kindness, and the victories we may have overlooked before. Maybe we went too fast. Maybe we weren't living in the moment. Or maybe we weren't really applying ourselves. We were just making excuses like, this is too hard. I can't do this. And, as soon as you say you can't, you're right. Right? Henry Ford said this a long time ago. If you believe you can't, you're right. And if you believe you can, you're also right. So our perceptions, our thoughts do create our reality. Number 10, struggle teaches humility. Hardship humbles us. It reminds us that we're not invincible and that everyone, no matter how strong, needs help and support at times. Humility gained from struggle makes us more compassionate leaders and, of course, friends. Number 11, endurance creates breakthroughs. Sometimes success isn't about being the fastest or the smartest. It's about lasting the longest. Struggle builds endurance, and endurance often leads to the breakthrough moment that changes everything. But we're always, let's say, second guessing ourselves until that happens. So like we're saying, are you sure we can do this? Am I sure I can do this? Did I take on too much? We second guess ourselves. And we really need to reflect back on the victories we've had so they can propel us forward to do even greater things. I've said before that, we achieve things in stages. If we achieve one thing and then we achieve something a little bit better, that's great. We don't achieve that best thing right away because we weren't prepared. We weren't trained for that yet. But once we achieve something, then we're ready for more greatness, something harder, something more difficult. Number 12, adversity uncovers hidden potential. You just don't know what you're capable of until you're forced to stretch beyond what feels possible. Again, what I said, what feels possible, not what is possible, what feels possible. Struggle pulls out strengths, talents, and courage you didn't even know you had. So the catch is when we feel something, there's a good shot that our life is going to go that way, right? If you think it in the mind, a wise person once said, and you live it in the mind, you'll eventually go there in the body, meaning you're going to do it in real life. Number 13, struggle shows who truly supports you. Difficult times reveal true friendships. Some people will walk away, but those who stay and support you in your struggle are the ones who truly belong in your inner circle. Many people say they belong there, but you can be the judge and figure out who are the people that really belong in the inner circle. And it may surprise you that the people you thought that were going to be there, they're not even 500 feet close to you during that time. They may not be a mile close to you during that time. Number 14, lessons learned in hardship last the longest. What we learn during easy times fades quickly, but lessons born out of struggle, they just stick with us. They become part of who we are, our character. They guide us for years to come, and they shape the new version of ourselves. And I think that's the greatest thing about struggle is that when we've gone through struggle, that struggle just, you can't forget it so easily. So I think that's a really important point tonight. Number 15, every struggle is a stepping stone upward. Struggle is not the end, folks. It's a step up. Each difficulty you face moves you closer to becoming, well, your best self. Struggles aren't stumbling blocks. They're stairways toward your next level. But I think sometimes we don't see that they're that. And the reason we don't see that is because we're so caught up with the fact that, oh my gosh, I did this, I did that, or I can't do this. And because of that, we're like already saying we can't do something. And I think that's a big problem. Well, guys, here's the part of the show I really like. Oh, I like the whole show, but this is the part I really, really like. I'm going to go ahead and give you basically a personal story or lesson, one for each point tonight. And it's my hope that this will light some fire in you. It'll basically turn on that passion, which might have been missing. All right. And I know that sounds like something that's very challenging, but the truth of the matter is, it's not. It's something that when you do it more and more, you'll find that it's going to become easier because you've had practice with it. Anything in life, right? If you're not, let's say, an expert at something, but if you practice, what happens? Practice doesn't make you an expert, although some people think it does. It doesn't. It actually makes you better at your craft or the skill or whatever it is, but it does not make you an expert. You are never an expert because there can always be more, right? You could become very proficient in the task, but let me just tell you right now, you are not an expert. Now, a lot of people may not want to hear that because they're not humble. And so one of the things that I live my life on is I love the fact that I love to learn. I don't know if everybody here watching or listening to the podcast likes to learn, or they just want to learn, when it's convenient for them. And that's what I find with a lot of people. They want to learn only when it's convenient. And that sounds like something that's a good philosophy, but I have to tell you, it's not a good philosophy. Because if you're only open to learning when it's convenient for you, you might miss some of life's, well, pretty priceless moments and some really outstanding opportunities that are not going to knock again. You see, the universe just knocks once with those. It doesn't always knock twice. So if you're not home, in figurative speaking, then you're going to miss out on that entire. You're going to miss out on that entire concept. And I think that's a very, very big problem for a lot of people. More, or somebody else may grab that opportunity, right? I think that's a very, very important thing, and hopefully you understand it, right? I hope that you really understand like what that means. So diving in here, guys, to this, I think this is going to make it's going to hopefully, I'm really hoping that it gives you some type of let's say a drive to want to move forward, right? I think that's a very, very, I think that's a very, very big thing. So number one is struggle. Struggle reveals your true strength. Years ago, I lost one of my biggest clients. Panic set in. But after a few days, something surprising happened. I stopped focusing on what I lost and started taking action. I called a few people, some businesses. I built some new partnerships and reimagined my services. It was the most exhausting month of my life, but I proved to myself that I didn't need safety nets. I had strength I didn't even know existed until I had no choice but to use it. You see, every setback teaches resilience. Early in my career, I pitched a big idea to a room full of investors, and they all said no. I was devastated. But instead of quitting, I revisited my presentation, the concept. A few months later, I decided that I didn't need to pitch a group, that I already had what I needed. I could just pitch directly to the consumers of businesses that would buy my product, and I didn't need to ask somebody to be the founding source. I just went right to people and they bought it. The setback stung, but because of that resilience I had, I was able to go right to the market when I could just skip the middleman, skip that financing step. Number 3, growth often hides inside discomfort. See, starting my first podcast was uncomfortable, folks. So I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't used to being on the mic. Well, I did love to speak and keynote, but being on the mic at home was a little bit different. So I kept recording. I listened back. I cringed a little bit. I improved and I repeated the process. That discomfort forced me to grow in ways, well, I never even imagined were possible. And today I help others find their voice through podcasting and many things. And growth always starts where the comfort ends, guys. Growth starts where the comfort ends. Failure, guys, as I said, is feedback. It's not the finale, right? Or the finale. I once launched a product that completely flopped. Sales were low, reviews were mixed, and I felt embarrassed. But when I dug into the feedback, I saw exactly where I'd missed the mark. I used the data to rebuild and relaunch this time with incredible results. Failure wasn't the end, it was the first draft of success. Challenges shape our character. During a tough financial year, I had to make decisions that tested my integrity, cutting costs without cutting corners. It would have been easy to compromise our values, but I chose to lead with honesty. And that struggle didn't just teach me business, it taught me who I am when things get hard. And that character is something no market dip can ever take away from me. Struggle builds patience and grit. When I was rebuilding after a business downturn, progress felt painfully slow right after the storm Sandy. Days turned into weeks without visible wins, but I showed up every day, posting content, connecting with people, refining offers. Months later, the momentum caught up. That season taught me grit, doing the right thing long enough, let results catch up to the effort. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize is that they get tired of doing something and they stop, and the results were just about to come in. After a personal betrayal by someone I trusted very well in my life, I was crushed. But that emotional pain sparked a major pivot. It was actually a neighbor of mine. We became very good friends. And I asked him to do something simple, which was to make some bank deposits while I was away. And I realized that I trusted this person too soon. Even though it sounded like it was right and they were on board, when the task came to hand to do, they let me down. They didn't do it. I realized I needed to build systems, not just rely on people. You see, that shift helped me scale in a way I'd never considered before. See, pain and discomfort, it hurts, but sometimes it's what finally wakes us up to the next level. And I realized that I can't put other people in charge of my business to do very key functionality things until I've really gotten to know who they are, not over 6 months, not over a year, but over several years, and how I've seen that they step up to help me in the role of capacity they currently hold. Obstacles sharpen problem solving. When a supplier suddenly failed to deliver a critical component days before a launch, panic set in. And I thought everything was over. But necessity breeds creativity. I found a local alternative, reworked our schedule, and even saved some money in the process. That obstacle made me realize how adaptable I could be when the pressure was on. Tough times deepen gratitude. You know how much I talk about gratitude, guys. I remember a winter when I could barely, keep the lights on. This was in the very beginning. One night, a friend dropped off some groceries without saying a word to me. That simple act of kindness, I'll never forget. Since then, even small things like a full tank of gas reminded me of how rich life truly is, even when the wallet says otherwise. You see, struggles teach us humility. There was a time I thought I had all the answers until I didn't. A business deal went sideways due to an oversight. I had to own up to it, apologize, and accept help from peers. I once tried to outshine, and that humbling moment reminded me that ego can't solve problems. Only learning and collaboration can. And I realized that we are all here to work together. Endurance creates breakthroughs, folks. I once ran a 30-day video challenge, and by day 12, I wanted to quit, even though I love video production. But I kept pushing. Around day 25, well, one video went viral and changed the game. That taught me something powerful. You don't need to win every day. You just need to stay in the game long enough for the magic to happen. Now, I'm not talking about business magic. I'm talking about magic in your heart. Magic that takes the ideas, the creativity, that culmination, and it kind of connects them with your cause, your belief, which then becomes a value for people that want to pay for your products and services. Adversity uncovers hidden potential. When I was forced to take over a project after a team lead left, I was intimidated. I didn't think I had what it took. But day by day, I figured it out. And in the process, discovered leadership skills I never thought I had. Sometimes adversity is the only thing that can pull our true potential to the surface. And it shows up so that we can get confidence in ourselves. It shows who truly supports you. I know we don't like to test this, but it's something that's important. When I went through another rough patch, I noticed silent, but a few showed up without me even asking. They checked in, offered help. It reminded me I wasn't alone. Struggle didn't just hurt. It clarified who was real in my life. Those who stood by me then are still by my side today. And I think so many people say they want to be your friend. They say they want to help you. But when you have a problem or something comes up, they're too busy. They have other things to do. And they could make a million excuses. And although I'm not here to say that you can't do that, but I'm here to say if somebody does that every single time, they're not a friend of yours. I mean, as much as you want them to be a friend, they're not. I mean, you have to just accept that. So lessons learned in hardship last the longest. One of the hardest lessons I learned was about overpromising and underdelivering. It cost me a pretty big penny. More importantly, my confidence. But I never forgot the lesson. I became the foundation of my business ethos, underpromise and overdeliver. That mistake still shapes how I serve today. Underpromise, overdeliver, and people are elated with the results. That first project where I did promise something and I couldn't deliver, I didn't go back to the client and say that wasn't part of the spec. I coughed it up out of my own pocket. And that taught me that I got to be better at estimating. I got to be better at what I'm doing, and I've got to underpromise and then plan a budget in there for things that might go wrong. Every struggle is a stepping stone upward. You know, looking back, the hardest moments in my journey, sometimes getting rejected, making painful pivots, they were all the exact steps that led to greater clarity, growth, and opportunities. At the time, they felt like setbacks, but each one lifted me higher than where I started. Struggle doesn't hold us back, it lifts us up. We let it in or push it out. So I want to talk about one last story. So many of you guys know I'm in college as a graduate student, and I basically is in what they call the conditional program where they start you. And because I have a lot of experience in other degrees, I only had to take 2 prereqs. Well, I had one more prereq to take. So this is my second prereq. Now I'm actually a full-fledged master's, matriculated master's student. So this thing that happened to me was I had to take discrete math. And I've taken it before, but this is advanced discrete math. And they've made it a little bit harder. And so this course got very, very challenging. I have to tell you that. Discrete math, they're like, oh, I'm never taking that. It's math in a very interesting way. And in the beginning, it didn't just come into my head, even though I love math. I realized I needed to put extra time. I needed to figure other ways to learn things. I needed to be resourceful, watch YouTube videos. I needed to make my own practice problems. And as I did this, I realized one thing, that I actually do learn this stuff, but maybe I can't learn it in the classroom. Maybe I need to make it fun. Maybe I need to come up with a different way to do it. And I did. So, first story. I took my first test. First test was, but it was feedback. Right? It didn't actually mean anything. It was feedback. Then later, I learned out that we were going to get an optional test to replace any of our lower tests. I said, "Wow, that's amazing." Today, I had my final, and that final was concluded and finished. I went to lunch, and about an hour after lunch, I got a notification in Canvas, which is the automated system, that told me that my class that it was graded. Well, I had a very good grade going to file. I had an A minus after I had replaced that one grade that I didn't like, and I wound up then after that getting my grade for the class, which in the case was basically an A minus. And then I got a notice tonight that they forgot to add in one of the homeworks that was already shown, but it wasn't added in. Okay, so now I'm a few more points higher. Then I get an email tonight, like just about an hour ago, saying, "Dear students, I've given everyone additional 5 points. It doesn't show up in Canvas." So now I finished with a solid A, not even an A plus. Saying to myself, that got done, that's priceless, guys. That is so very, very priceless. And I want to tell you that this is what happens when you struggle. You share these moments, and these moments make the big difference. Like the fact that that information is mine for life. I mean, for life. Ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a great night. And remember, when you struggle, it'll help you succeed. Just enjoy the process.